Caitlin Clark's preseason debut drew 1.3 million viewers. This news will probably leave Angel Reese's mom in shambles.
The WNBA's old guards are frantically revising their scripts, NHL executives are fretting, and NBA preseason planners are perplexed by Caitlin Clark's recent TV ratings bonanza. Hold on tight, because, let's just say, not everyone is delighted about what just happened, which has the basketball world in a frenzy. Warning: Angel Reese's mother is going crazy due to the overwhelming jealousy.
She's upset. She made a couple of comments a couple of days ago about people literally covering statistical data involving attendance. That's a problem. That's hate.
Tickets for this game actually sold out within the hour, and people were lining up for over 3 hours before the game just to get into this arena.
In this video, we're breaking down how Clark completely twisted reality for women's basketball, why the Reese camp is in disarray, and what this all means for the game's future, because what's happening right now isn't just historic, it's hilarious and extremely telling. If you're ready to watch greatness, get fired up for the fever in the comments section. Clark's preseason debut didn't just attract attention, it completely took over the national conversation.
Other WNBA teams are going to have to think of another solution for Caitlin Clark because they're not going to be able to guard her the way that they did during her rookie season.
She not only outperformed last year's WNBA Finals opener, but she also casually outdrew the NHL playoffs and NBA preseason matchups, which isn't just a ratings spike, it's a ratings detonation. We're talking about 3 million viewers for a preseason WNBA game.
This was a preseason WNBA game. It is unbelievable what it is Caitlin Clark does.
Additionally, this was a sold-out madhouse carving display rather than a dreary one. She created college basketball history night after night at Hawkeye Arena, which was packed to the rafters and rocking like it was a Final Four game. Now that she's back, she's the face of a professional team.
There were 14,998 people in attendance for this game. Average reported ticket price was $650. That is almost $9.75 million just for a WNBA preseason game. This team is going to break so many records this year: attendance, viewership, merch sales, all of the things.
Someone else wasn't having a good time while Clark was lighting up ESPN and creating the kind of goosebumps-inducing crowd energy. In fact, someone was furious and stormed onto the stage, leaving Angel Reese's mother with a phone, a grudge, and a new round of accusations because it seems like whenever Caitlin dominates, someone in the Reese household has to log on and lose it.
It's hate when you point out that the Sky game drew 6,373 fans at the college where Angel Reese won the national championship.
Yes. Angel Reese's mother was busy writing a fiery little post that was directed directly at Caitlin and her supporters while millions of fans were celebrating a historic moment for women's basketball. The post was full of profanity, finger-pointing, and just enough passive aggression to make a Real Housewives producer proud. The receipts don't lie, so why all the smoke? The WNBA has never seen figures like Caitlin Clark's, and her detractors are finding the disparity to be extremely upsetting.
This game beat NHL playoff ratings. A WNBA game, a preseason WNBA game, not only beat those ratings, destroyed them. More watched than any NBA preseason game since 2018, all but 2 NBA preseason games since 2010.
With a smile, a step-back 3, and no drama, Caitlin Clark not only arrived but also completely changed the sports media landscape. Her preseason debut was more than just a game. It was a moment of cultural change wrapped in a jump shot and a TV event with more gravity than most playoff matchups that won. 3 million viewers, which is not only good for the WNBA but historic.
People were so excited for this game for many reasons, but the main one being that Caitlin Clark would be returning to Iowa to play at Carver Hawkeye Arena.
Let's also discuss that crowd Carver. Not only was Hawkeye packed, but there were 15,000 electric fans standing wall to wall, with only young females wearing number 22 jerseys and carrying lifelong hoop heads. For Caitlin's signs, I traveled 300 miles. This was a coronation, not an exhibition.
Brazilian national team. Even though they lost by that much, it still seemed like they had a great time. Caitlyn was signing their jerseys after the game. They were taking photos with her.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
The average cost of a seat was $670. The fans paid up and showed up, and some resale tickets broke the $6,000 mark for a preseason game. That's not only remarkable, but unparalleled, and it's only just begun. Clarkonomics, baby.
The biggest thing about this team, other WNBA teams are not going to be able to guard Caitlin Clark in the same way that they did during her rookie season because you have so many assets on the court now. You are not going to be able to trap Caitlin Clark because there are so many other threats on the floor.
And what did Caitlin do under all that pressure, all that criticism, and all that noise? Well, not much. She just scored 21 points, including a three-pointer from Steph Curry in the first few minutes. She energized her teammates, controlled the floor like a conductor with a baton, and demonstrated why she is more than just a player. She is a walking revolution.
She hits her signature logo three from 36 feet, actually behind her signature logo that was on the court.
However, this goes beyond the scoreboard. By transforming casual viewers into fans, doubters into believers, and networks into believers with checkbooks, Caitlin Clark is changing the very fabric of the game. In addition to playing the game, Caitlin Clark is revolutionizing how it is eaten, sold, and celebrated. Tickets are flying, social engagement is skyrocketing, and everyone is watching, especially on CBS and ABC, because she has made women's basketball unmissable, but not everyone is applauding.
Highest rated NHL game was roughly 430,000 viewers, behind only 2 NBA preseason games in the last 15 years had bigger ratings than this game. It outdrew game 1 of the 2024 WNBA finals. Oh, get mad. Get angry.
Angel Reese's mother chose to post a social media manifesto that can only be characterized as petty meets performative when the majority of the basketball community was in shock. Everyone with an internet connection knew who the target was, so she didn't need to reveal identities. Caitlin Clark.
You got Angel Reese's mom. She put this out in the public space. Oh, that certain fan base looking in the stands, celebrating quote attendance, while others are looking up in the rafters celebrating championship banners. We ain't the same. Different years, same haters. Have a great day.
Her assertion that the media manufactured hype around Caitlin's rise was more about privilege than performance, and that her daughter was maligned while Clark received praise for performing the same things. You know that old song again.
1.3 million viewers on the TV rating for Caitlin Clark's preseason debut against Brazil in a blowout. Sold out in front of 15,000 fans at $670 a ticket. She is the needle.
Caitlin Clark returned to Iowa yesterday. It looked like the entire state of Iowa shut down. This is what the drawing power of a real star looks like.
Let's face it, this song has been around since the LSU versus Iowa NCAA matchup, complete with the "you can't see me" antics. One thing remained constant throughout it all. Caitlin Clark didn't receive anything. She earned everything with decades of reps, a highlight reel for the ages, and the kind of statistics you don't look into. This isn't about the media giving her a crown. Rather, it's about her grabbing it with both hands and refusing to let go because of her skill, grace, and absolute class. The Reese camp has been fuming over the fact that Clark receives praise while Angel is portrayed as the antagonist. Caitlin broke records and entered the WNBA as though she owned the league.
She made a homecoming, and the arena was less than half full. 13,215 available seats. They didn't even sell half of those. One is moving the needle. The other one is not even fluttering it. Instagram followers do not translate into viewership on television during actual basketball games.
However, Reese's mother wasn't finished. If a tweet suggested that Caitlin Clark's fans were secretly plotting in a smoke-filled ESPN boardroom, you can bet she tapped the heart button. The entire discourse was hijacked, and what should have been a unifying moment, a victory for the entire sport, was instead transformed into a battleground of identity politics and social media finger-pointing. One spicy post wasn't enough, and she went into full-on PR meltdown mode, liking, reposting, and co-signing every inflammatory take that accused Caitlin Clark's fans were racially biased or worse, part of some grand media conspiracy to crown Clark while excluding everyone else. Tribalism took hold, and somewhere in the midst of a basketball revolution, Reese's defenders dug in. Clark's defenders clapped back.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
And she's so good at basketball.
Because she's that awesome person, and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
Furthermore, while everyone else was creating Twitter threads and playing the blame game, Caitlin Clark, the one person not taking part in the circus, remained laser-focused on the one thing that truly matters, her game. No subtweets, no press statements, just buckets, while Reese's camp vented their frustrations. As if it were her side gig, Clark was selling out arenas and airing out defenders. But guess what? That quiet speaks louder than any online tirade.
The state of Iowa experienced something yesterday that they have never experienced before. Traffic. Crowds. Thousands and thousands of people were standing outside of the arena hours before the game even started.
When Caitlin Clark breaks viewership records and becomes the face of a league overnight, it challenges not only the game, but also the gatekeepers. The question is not just how good Caitlin Clark is, but who gets to define greatness in this new era. It also exposes an uncomfortable truth about the moment we're in. Clark's dominance is so undeniable that it's creating fault lines across the league. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about power pride and who gets to control the narrative of women's sports going forward.
Angel Reese loves the attention. She is extremely popular on social media. When she posts provocative pictures, thousands of lonely dudes give her the validation that she so desperately desires.
For years, the WNBA has fought for relevance, demanding better pay, more exposure, and larger crowds. To be fair, those victories were hard-earned. The veterans have endured travel nightmares, one-sided beefs, and salaries that would make a college intern laugh. We are witnessing a full-fledged tug-of-war over the future of women's basketball.
I didn't plan to shoot that logo 3. I know coming into the game, everybody wanted me to shoot one from there. But Steph was like, was supposed to come out at the end of the third, so she's like, give a foul, give a foul, give a foul. And then it was 30 seconds on the clock, which like between 30 to 33, that's like your 2-for-1 range where you have to get one up. So I saw 30 as we're inbounding the ball, which probably is inbounding the ball at 30, probably a little low. But I was like, why not?
It's the kind of surge the league has been dreaming about, but it comes with a price tag. For players like Angel Reese and fans who have been there through the lean years, it feels like someone just skipped the queue. They've been working hard for respect, and now Caitlin Clark shows up and suddenly the league is trending every day. Networks are bidding like it's the Super Bowl, and average ticket prices have quadrupled in places that never sold out before.
Angel Reese is also influential in hip-hop culture. She has made cameos and music videos. The popularity of Angel Reese, it is an illusion. Caitlin Clark has managed to break through the niche culture of celebrity to become a mainstream draw. You can make the case that Caitlin Clark is the biggest draw right now in sports.
Reese's mother's posts therefore have a greater impact than a social media argument. It's not just about Clark. It's about the fear that the game's focus has quickly changed. But here's what they're missing. This isn't a zero-sum game. Rather, Caitlin Clark is adding to the league rather than taking anything away from it. Her influence isn't decreasing. Rather, it's increasing. Sure, she's getting more attention, but everyone benefits from the increased visibility, income, and opportunities.
How embarrassing! Now, you're not going to hear this from the mainstream media who continues to pretend that the Bayou Barbie is beloved. You're not going to hear this from the media who continues to pretend that Angel Reese is a huge star.
And the receipts are indisputable, regardless of how uncomfortable that growth may be for some. Even WNBA Commissioner Kathy Angelberg had to acknowledge that Clark's debut had the kind of financial clout the league has been praying for. TV networks are pleading to broadcast fever games, and rival teams are moving games to larger venues in order to meet the demand for tickets.
But since Caitlin Clark has entered the league, the prevailing conversation around the WNBA has been drawing power.
It's a good thing that Caitlin Clark is the driving force behind the game's explosive growth. Veteran players deserve flowers because they laid the groundwork, but Clark is the high-rise. She's the one attracting casual sports fans. parents with daughters who want to play, and yes, even ardent NBA fans who are finally giving the W a chance.
One of them packed 15,000 paid fans into the arena. The other couldn't fill the lower bowl.
But here's the risk. What makes the drama from Reese's camp so frustrating is that instead of leveraging the moment, they're feeding a narrative that could turn off new viewers. They want basketball, they want excellence, they want stars. If the league lets resentment define the conversation, if resentment drowns out opportunity, then this golden moment could slip away. The WNBA is desperate to frame it that way for drama, ratings, and legacy building, but it's not Magic versus Bird. Rather, it's Jordan versus whoever he's facing that week. The gap between Clark and the others is wide and widening, and she's the league's face, the needle mover, and the reason arenas are buzzing.
She does everything she can to keep her name in the headlines, yet for some reason, it doesn't translate to ticket sales, doesn't translate to television ratings. Angel Reese was the biggest star in Unrivaled. Hell, she was the only star in Unrivaled. No one was watching.
Still, the next several months are crucial because, if handled properly, this rivalry might become the one that drives the league for years of gritty, entertaining, headline-grabbing action. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark will be forever linked because of their NCAA fight. If the league takes her lead and prioritizes the game over egos, the future is dazzlingly bright. Clark is already demonstrating that she is more than just hype. She is humble, unwavering, and setting an example.
But look at their career trajectories since then. Caitlin Clark is the only draw in the history of women's basketball. Angel Reese couldn't sell out home games at LSU, couldn't sell out home games in the WNBA in Chicago, can't fill half the arena for her homecoming celebration. Caitlin Clark doesn't beg for attention. Matter of fact, I would imagine that Caitlin Clark gets tired of the attention.
However, if it allows off-court drama to overshadow on-court excellence, the WNBA runs the risk of becoming its own worst enemy if people like Reese's mother continue to take over the spotlight. It is now up to the league and each player to decide whether they want to continue building or continuing to argue, because it is obvious that Caitlin Clark is changing the rules. She is more than just a player. She is a movement. In addition to breaking a TV record, she broke a ceiling and attracted millions of people to women's basketball, demonstrating that there is a sizable audience waiting to fall in love with the sport. A generational talent, a ratings powerhouse, and a potential MVP. The only question now is who is prepared to grow with her. If you're ready to witness greatness, leave a comment, subscribe, and enable all notifications so you don't miss anything.